welcome everyone to my channel, especially since the last video I did, I talked about I got 3,000 subscribers, and something amazing since then. We did a video over on Skill Builder, which is like a how to pitch a roof video. So if you've seen that and watched it and liked it, thanks very much. Thanks for your comments and questions. Really enjoyed answering them. I've thought I'd better introduce myself to all my new subscribers properly, so thank you very much. I think we're over 4,000 now, which is incredible. Again, I always say I don't know why I need all these subscribers, but I do find a lot of interest in my work. I have a passion for it, and what I thought I'd do, because a lot of people ask me about tools and that sort of stuff and what I use, so I've just got together a selection of roofing carpentry tools here on this bench here, and I'm going to talk you very swiftly through what I might take on a typical roof job. Now, I don't always need all this kit. Sometimes I can survive with a simple battery circular saw, like this. I've also got one which is the opposite hand, so you can see that the motor's on the opposite hand to this one. I can make do with that, and a single nail gun, and then my hand tools, and basically that's all I need. But generally speaking, when you're building a whole house or doing a roof on a big alteration, there's nearly every other type of tool you're going to need. So let me talk you through the tools which I've got out in front of me. And no particular order, no order of importance or anything like that, but I will finish this video by telling you the most important tool that I have, or two or three that I have. So first of all, we'll start with the old faithful corded circular saw, 9-inch. This is what I basically earned my living with for years and years and years and years. Generally all 110, so when I'm out on site it's generally 110. Moving on to saws. Nowadays we get away with a 185mm 36 volt. This is a 36 volt brushless high Koki, fantastic bit of kit. You might have seen me using that in the video over on Skill Builder. We've got, they're basically rafter cutting tools. So again, we've got the same thing here. If I'm doing a lot of stuff where I want to see the blade on that side. That's Milwaukee, as you might have guessed. Then we've got a recip saw. These are really handy for going in and chopping out old rafters, making your way into a roof. Not really for cutting rafters. They're not that accurate, but they're fantastic for cutting stuff out of the way. Or if you make an error, you've got to move a rafter like you saw in that video. I use this to tease the nails out because it's less destructive than smashing it out of the way with a hammer. Now, so they're the sort of cutting tools that I generally use. Apart from the obvious, you can't get away from having a handsaw. One of the most useful tools a carpenter can have. Pretty much superseded now by electric tools, but still, we still need them. So moving away from the cutting equipment that I showed you, we go on to, let's say, drilling, for example. So a really good quality SDS drill for drilling and also for doing some chipping here and there. If you've got to fix pole plates to walls, you've got to drill them in. Generally a 12mm drill, and I use sleeve anchors, generally stainless steel. So you get your timber up, you drill all the way through, clean the hole, you bang a sleeve anchor through, and it's a through fixing, so there's no movement. And basically you're working on not the pulling out the wall. Sorry about the little blip there. Had a phone call which cut off the phone. So back to drilling. So you're going to need an SDS Max or something like that, which is pretty good. And then we're going to come on to other drills. Now this is a impact wrench, 1/2 inch, ideal for bolting up timbers and that sort of stuff. Bolting timbers to steel, it's perfect. A combi drill for doing your smaller sort of holes through trimmers and that sort of stuff. Put an auger bit in there. You're going to need an impact driver from time to time if you're going to end up screwing stuff up. Generally battens to hold things that you're going to remove later. And an angle grinder comes in useful as well. Okay, going on to nailing now. So I've got in front of me Paslode IM360Ci. This is my workhorse. I've got an extra long cartridge in there, takes 2 reams to nail, really handy if you're doing a lot of cladding, etc. Also, doesn't really add to the weight, it's a really good bit of kit. This is the PPN, positive placement nailer. It's got the nose on the front that you put into the hangers, and as you fire, that puts the square twist nail in place of the nose. Absolutely saves ages of time. and they're really nice and accurate. You can hold the hanger and bang. Then I'm using the Hikoki brushless, which is a fantastic bit of kit. No gas here, excellent for cold weather. Also, what's really useful about this, you can rapid fire with it, so when you've got that setting on, if you're doing decking, bang, 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 you haven't got to keep squeezing the trigger. That's really useful. And then lastly, on the nailing front, a P370. This is a spit gun. This is a ballistic gun, so it basically has your round in there, and then you put your nail in here, and you can shoot straight through, say 150, straight into the web of a steel, or into the flange of a steel. Really useful bit of kit that is, of course. But with this particular tool, you really want to get trained up properly and get your license. And then we'll move on again. A little bit about PPE. So ear defenders, eye protection, lanyard. This is to attach your tools to you if you're up on a roof and there's people working underneath. That's really important. Even your hammer should be lanyarded up. Gloves, so I've got my chainsaw gloves here, come in quite handy, especially when I'm ripping roofs out. They're really hardy. Pry bar, moving away from PPE. Pry bar, which comes in really handy for sort of moving heavy objects and replacing or taking rafters out, that sort of stuff. Then I'll talk a little bit about measuring equipment. So this is an inclinometer. It's an electronic device which measures pitches, which is great for if you're joining onto an existing pitch. You go around and check it here and there, but don't be fooled sometimes if the roof's got a belly in it. You need a straight edge over that belly to measure the pitch from top to bottom, and that's where items such as this come in handy. So it's a telescopic level, and because it's got these little devices you can attach to it, you can actually get past the battens and sit on the rafter, and this will go out to somewhere near 3.1 meters, so you can get a really good accurate measure of the pitch. And then various other spirit levels of all different shapes and sizes for obvious reasons. Sight square, fold up type. You just want to go around and check that the brickies have got the corners somewhere near square if you can't get a diagonal measure. That's always useful. Then I've got a green laser here, which will work outside with a receiver, work really well with a receiver obviously. And a red laser, I also use, this is a line laser, with a receiver outside as well. Something like that. The PLS one works really well with the Leica. Then, probably the most important tool of all is my roofing square with my hardwood fence. The idea of that is, once I've established the pitch I'm doing, then I can slide this down to suit the pitch, tighten it back up, and there we have it. We've got plumb cut, seat cut. I can work out all my hips, my valleys, my jack rafters, my cripple jack rafters, you name it, lay boards, the lot. It can all be done in this square, and I promise to help you with that in the future, whether it's on the training course or whether I come out to site to see you. But one way or another, we'll upskill the carpentry fraternity to get using this sort of square. It's a fabulous bit of kit. That's probably one of my favourite bits of kit. So I said I'd also show you like my loose hand tool. So here's my, what the Americans call my rig, and inside my pouch I carry a speed square. I carry the obvious thing, tape measure. I've always got a couple of pencils in there in case I drop one. I've got a blade to sharpen pencils, etc. Another classic tool you're always going to use, string line, pinging lines from noggins and that sort of stuff, or solid bridging. I always carry a really sharp chisel as well. You never know when you're going to need to put a little notch in something without going back down to the saw. And then my hammer, S-Wing California framer, 28 ounce, beautiful bit of kit. Everyone laughs at it because it's so long, but it's like everything. After using a hammer for years, you get used to them and you want to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it has its benefits and purposes. So it's like, there's my tape. So it's got 3 pouches, nail loop, and that's comes in pretty handy there. So there's my little introduction to the kind of kit that I take around with me. It's a bit of a pain, locking it away every night and getting it out, but you know what that's like with all the tool theft that goes on. But I do love my tools. I do love keeping them tidy and keeping them straight and nice and all the rest of it. So if you've got any questions about any of these tools, don't hesitate to ask. Sorry about the blip in the middle of this little video, but as I said, I'm all right at carpentry, but I'm not very good at TV production. So if you don't like the quality of the video, that's bad. I mean, it's bad luck, or I don't care, to be fair. It's more about the content, I think. But in the meantime, thanks to all those new subscribers. Keep checking back. There'll be some other interesting stuff coming up, especially over on Skill Builder. As you know, we're nearly at 100,000 subscribers over there, which is absolutely phenomenal. One of Britain's leading channels now for the construction industry at the level we're at, which is all the small stuff. So please keep supporting us and subscribe. Many, many thanks. I'm going to disappear out of the shop where I come around and turn the camera off. Cheers.